Hey there, Internet. Flynnibus here. Just this week, you saw Knocker Lover give a tour of his collection and his workshop. And being Pints and Pinball, I figured I wouldn't let him be alone and give you a tour of my place and my collection and tools I use. And let's take a look. All right, we'll start down here in the lower half. I actually have an unfinished basement, so I have two areas that I use for workshop and collection. Over here, just your typical rolling chest of tools, cobalt, I guess before they actually went blue with everything Lowe's, and then some of my woodworking tools, routers, cross-cut. Like Knocker Lover, vise is definitely essential for when we're doing any kind of restoration stuff. Makes it really easy to work on bending stuff and fixing up. Polisher wheel, which I turned him on to both loose and sewn wheels. Really great for metal polishing. Go and get, you don't need anything fancy. This is just the Harbor Freight. Once they opened up nearby us, that was a godsend for the pinball stuff. Really, you don't need anything crazy for this stuff. You just need to work, and when it breaks, you can buy another one, and it's still cheaper than if you're going off and buying high-end tools. Nice portable table saw there. Another table saw on the back there is an older one. There's a much nicer one I picked up recently. The old shop vacs, which you always need. And how do you move a full truckload of pins to MagFest every year? A boatload of moving blankets, that's how. So you're gonna find moving blankets stuffed away everywhere in here. So whenever we move our pins, we wrap them up, try to do a good job protecting them. Some other fun tools over here. You can say, what the heck are these? Like 7-foot boards with some ramps on them. So to get into my basement, I actually have these this walkout here. It's not so bad. It's only about 5 feet, but they actually come up the stairs, down the stairs, across the bottom, back up the threshold of the pane. So I made these runners that I can put that span the threshold and span the last steps at the bottom, so I don't have to go down and back up. Because I do have an escalator to go up and down the steps to make it nice and easy, but you know, going across those thresholds is still a pain in the butt. So actually I have little ramps to go at the top, because there's about an 8-inch step at the top of the staircase too. So those have worked out really nice. So some of the pins we have down here in the lower section, some classics. Here's a newest member of the family. Some of these are just here for a little bit, but you know, they all get played the same. As we move over here, we actually get to the real business end of the basement, where I have the most of my pins and a lot of my my tools and whatnot. So just a real basic workbench, nothing fancy. Again, another Harbor Freight special, but it's actually worked out really nice. Have some lab bench power supplies, really good for you know, bench work on boards, testing motors, even just testing LEDs. Makes it real good and simple, easy. I got two, so I can run multiple voltages at the same time. Label maker, just more for storage. Look at this metal polishing stuff like we were mentioning before. Electronics. I get some actually going to update those Pac-Man clocks with real-time clocks here shortly, so that's another little project. I'm actually right now in the middle of doing some playfield touch-up, so I got my painting stuff out, playing with an airbrush. Some good tools that we have in here. Oh look, here's a Knocker Lover special from a good friend. Crimpers and you know, everyone goes back and forth about crimpers, what are the best ones to use. And actually, I've been trying to buy a lot to try all the different ones out that people recommend. And so many times people are talking about it were great. I tell you, they're garbage. They don't really work very well in terms of, you know, being universal or getting good fit on the different wire sizes and whatnot. So I got all kinds of different ones in here that I've been trying. But actually, you know, these are still, I find, to be the best for your common, like, 20 watt gauge wire, 110, not 110, the 0.100 and 156 connector. So I got these, and actually these are the ones that great playing cells. And I tell you what, I keep coming back to these over and over and over again. These are probably the best. If I were to tell anyone just to buy one set, it would be this. This is the Sargent ones he sells. You can just look it up on the website. But connectors, riveting, here's the old classic third hand rivet tool. This has actually worked really well. I have some of the hand rivet stuff as well to do them by hand. I'll tell you what, that's hard. The third hand tool works really well. If you know someone that has one of the real official ones, those are great too. Just your electronic stuff, RAM and ROMs and whatever stuff I throw around in here. Electronics, more, hey look, switch testers, power supply, adapter for make a PC. Instead of having one of these, you can just take an ATX power supply. These are really nice to give you all the terminals, and it's fused. I haven't got a chance to play with that yet, but I have them. Lamps, nice overhead LED, fluorescent fixture. These actually, it was really nice, and it was really cheap at Home Depot. Highly recommend. It really gives a good light over the workbench. Some stuff over here in my go bag for working on pins on location. So this has actually worked out really nice. A roller bag. I have my desoldering and soldering stuff in there right now. I use that with this bag here. Has worked really well. And I take these, I guess these are Home Depot, just for, instead of digging stuff out of the bottom of the bag forever, which I was always doing, I started breaking some stuff out into these. They latch together, take some common stuff like, most of your modern like stern stuff like coil stops and sleeves and switches and flipper buttons. Put all this, put it on this go bag. It's got a handle, roll with it, put these three things in a stack, and it fits right in the back of the car, nice and easy. It's beautiful. Some gun cleaning stuff. Compressor, like I said, I was actually doing a painting project right now, so I'm actually touching up the playfield on this Mars God of War, so we'll look at that a little bit later. Another Harbor Freight, the rolling cart. I actually thought originally I was going to use this for tools, but actually this has worked really well for when you're on projects to pull stuff off the game, put it in here, stop spreading it everywhere in the space. Down here I have our tumbling stuff, so tumbler down there, sifters, works really well to these are just kitchen stuff, but works really well to get the stuff out of the tumbling media. I think got a bag of tumbling media in here. Ultrasonic cleaner, nice for easy free stuff, doesn't get you all the way, but it's nice to have. And then again, storage bins for keeping everything, all the things you would expect, LEDs, rubber. This is actually my favorite. Whenever you pull stuff off games and you're doing weight reduction, otherwise known as finding extra parts, keep them sorted into like screws and machine bolts and different sizes. I use this bin probably more than anything else, staples and whatnot. But you know what? It's all universal hardware. You keep coming back to it. So, washers especially. This has been a time saver. Nothing worse than losing a part or coming into a game that's missing parts and then think you have to go and order something. When you have spares lying around, it saves you so much. Random game bits, coils, flipper bushings, pop bumper rings, bases. More game parts, my actual new hardware for screws and all. Again, you're always just trying to organize the stuff to help you find stuff, because I swear half of a project is spending time looking for parts and more hardware there. Break out some LEDs. Again, LEDs are running over everything, so I gotta have other cases just for LEDs. Again, just buy really cheap. You can see the sticker here, $2 from like Michael's. I mean, no need to go crazy. Actually, I think this is actually a really good addition. This is it's actually for like scrapbooking, it's for photos, but instead I use it to organize all my different electronic stuff. So organize stuff by axial caps, resistors, diodes, small transistors. This is you know, I used to just stick around and keep it in boxes on my from the orders. And then I would always forget what I had, and then I would go back and buy them again and find them, or spend too much time looking for them, can't find them. This has worked out really well. You can buy these at Michael's. Highly recommend. Another necessity tool, already getting old. Magnifying glasses. I have a couple different ones of these. I have some of the headset ones too, but honestly, I find these more useful because I end up going like this because I can't see crap anymore. What else we got going on? Nice LED lamps. So much better than the old halogen ones. These folding tables are phenomenal. These are Home Depot. You can actually adjust the height of them really easy. They fold up into a small, like, 2x2 almost even. I have a couple of these, and when I'm breaking down a game, stripping it down, take 2 of these tables, put them in the area, put stuff on. Lifesaver. I really love having these, and it's out right now just because I just finished up this Elvira a couple weeks ago, and I haven't managed to put everything away yet. What else we got going on? Oh, tubs under games. A lot of storage space you can have under these games. Don't forget about it. So I got under here, I just got boards, Bally boards and old Gottlieb stuff. Can't see a whole lot in here, but I try to keep all my electronic stuff together, so that makes it a little bit easier to find. Over here, some more organization of tools and whatnot. Here we have all of our compounds and polishes to help, when we're finishing play fields or cleaning Mylar. No need to go and buy special pinball stuff. You just have the different cuts here. It's all the same stuff. They're just repackaging it. Rapid tack for doing cabinet decals. Another pro tip: whenever you're pulling old hardware off games, keep it. Here's a bunch of flipper plates and stuff like that. Those older stuff, like, people don't go back and make those Bally flipper plates, and you can flip them from left to right and reuse them. So a lot of good stuff. Then I keep it kind of organized here by purpose. So cleaning stuff. You can buy these by the hundreds places. These are really useful. Cleaning inserts and other things. This is one that you don't see a lot of new people use. I really like a lot, this Wildcat RC88. There's some newer stuff now, but this is great for cleaning classic rubber. Keep it away from anything painted, plastics, it'll eat it. But for cleaning rubber, this stuff wipes dirt off like magic. Things you're used to, Novus, whatever. Old lights, a whole box of lights. I keep things organized by here's like salvage parts off prior games. This is more generic stuff like shooter rods, flipper bats, and things like that. Then you have parts that you buy and then you don't end up using. So we got boxes of should be all new stuff here. Post, which you overbuy all the time. Some mods in here, replacement parts, flippers and rings that you decided not to use. Leg plates, everything in here. Flipper rebuild kits. Ooh, Gottlieb. I try to keep it organized so I stop duplicating everything, keep buying it over and over again. Here I have my nice stock of keep separated all the stuff for when I'm restoring cabinets and whatnot. So I have tools like circle drawing tools, bluing, foam strips, ground braid, staples for the braid nailer, and this is actually a really great tool. This is the used to pull the staples when for ground braid. This works really, really well. Find one of these. These are awesome. I think Pin Restore sells those. I can't remember where I got that a long time ago. Two-sided tape for side rails and everything. I just try to keep things organized by task. Most of the stuff I don't come back to unless I'm actually doing a cabinet refinish or something like that. So it's a little easier to remember where this stuff is if I organize it by task. cleaning stuff, some stripping materials, another organizer idea of, this is more for game parts like switches and springs, and this is not really all that organized as much as I just trying to keep everything out of being in a big box. But another, Michael's deal or something like that. This has been semi-useful. Not as good as the other ones, but it's helped. Let's see, more stuff, this is actually all the stuff you pull off games. So like when you do mods, don't throw away the stuff you pull off in case you want to put the game back to original or somebody else wants them. So things like AC/DC cannon, all kinds of stuff in here. I got these new ramps for Lord of the Rings. So I guess I have some new parts mixed in here too. I got some of the bigger parts. Again, hey, look. Oh, no, that's my, I thought that was salvage parts, but that's stuff for cleaning games. Plastic sets. I tend to keep, for games I bought new, I try to buy a plastic set when they're still available because Stern doesn't make them forever. So for games like AC/DC, I think Metallica, so other ones I bought plastic sets when they were new. DMDs down there, speakers, just more game hardware. Over here, some more tools, socket sets, some power tools. I always end up with a whole collection of spray paints, and hey, look, stuff for screen printing, because hey, look what's up here. Squeegees for doing screen printing, making your own screens. That was a fun project. Encourage people to do that. It's not that hard. It's good fun. Sanding supplies. Here's another trick that I don't know a lot of people know. When you're trying to refinish metal and stuff like that, you're using sandpaper. And actually, these Scotch-Brite pads actually do a really good job, make it really, really easy. I think more so than just regular sandpaper when refinishing metal. So I got a bunch of different grades here, like green, fine, super fine. You buy them on Amazon in these big blocks. Highly recommend it. All kinds of sandpaper. Another good source of finer stuff. You can actually find this 3M Auto stuff. They come in different, like this 1500 grit. Because you find actually trying to find high grit sandpaper, you can't really do that at the hardware stores that easily. This auto stuff is perfect. It's cheap. You can even buy it in a lot of Walmarts and stuff like that, or buy it in your auto parts store. They come in different ones. They have random, or not random sets, but like variety sets, and go all the way up to like 3000 grit. That stuff works really, really well for playfield finishing and other fine work. Rotary tools. Always come back to these things. Here's another cheap set from Harbor Freight. Just treat these things as consumable. You burn through them and just buy more. Old Black & Decker thing from forever. Acrylic paints. Always have a bunch of different colors and stuff like that because you're always mixing and matching. Screen printing stuff. There's actually a legit Navy Sea box, like straight off a carrier. Family friend, naval test pilot, gave me that. Actually, when I went to college, so I've had this thing for decades. But I keep a lot of my bigger, loose power tools and stuff in there, which is nice. Extra glass boxes. You always need random boxes. There's actually a WPC silkscreen set there, which is nice. And that's sitting here from a friend who probably will be like, hey, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's sitting here. It's safe. Glass, extra glass. There's God of War action. These things, these are the Pinball Universe cabinet inserts. These things are way overpriced, but they work. They work really well. And if you have any games that have tight cabinets, or you do the side art or mirror blades, highly recommend these. Such a lifesaver in terms of, you always forget to put them in, but make a point of it. You will be very happy that you did it. Hey, Harbor Freight lift cart. Everyone should have one of these. If you have hardwood, if you have a big open area like this, you have multiple games, buy one of those. It'll save you forever. Tons of translights, and back in the day when repo parts weren't all that common, Used to go to shows, you go to Allentown, New York, and just buy cheap translights and stuff like that. I got probably 20 or 30 different translights there that put in frames and do other things with, or just to look at later. Here's another must store of all the stuff for traveling with games. A million straps, things to protect corners, put all your stuff together. It's another thing, whenever you want to go and buy games and you think you're going to be one of these guys that's going to go out on Craigslist and buy and race everyone to games, have all that stuff ready to go, jump in your truck. It's a piece of cake. I think that's pretty much everything in here. Ooh, I forgot some of the big toys over here. Coat rack rotisserie stand. The guy that sells these, I forget his name, but he's always at the shows. Really, really nice. I know other people have other alternatives now for buying rotisseries. To me, this is a 2-in-1, man. I put the playfield on this. Actually, when I was doing Elvira, I could actually sit the whole playfield here next to the game, out of the cabinet, on the rotisserie, and was able to even play test the game and things like that. Really like this. This is another loaner from a friend, but I'm getting a lot more use out of it than they are. So thanks, Wick and Jills. I really appreciate it. And that's pretty much the tour. See anything cool? Got any questions? Let me know, and take you through the games here next.